G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino. It's time for episode 16 of season 2 of The Bad Batch. This episode is called Plan 99. It's obviously going to lead directly on from the previous episode because it's a double-header episode for the season finale. I'm going to get straight into this because most people will watch episode 15's review, and of course it leads straight into episode 16 as I'm going completely back to back here. So let's get straight into this episode. If you are new here, you get to see some of my reactions through the episode, and of course at the very end you get to hear my thoughts and my review of the episode. I'll probably give my thoughts a little bit in regards to the entire season as well. So let's get straight into this. We also haven't seen any of Cody since he defected. Also too, there was something that I actually forgot in my last review, and I hope you guys have watched that, but this mission has essentially failed as well because throughout the detonation, the tracking device that they put on Hemlock's ship has been destroyed as well. So they've essentially, this whole thing is almost for nothing in the end. Oh, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Holy shit.
No, stay here.
How'd they find him? It was Sid. Omega's not going to listen. She's going to go back.
Come on.
Yep, I knew it. And she's going to get caught.
How about an exchange?
I'm not going with you.
Yeah, you are. Like, this is another thing. Like, Mount Tantus has been completely changed from the EU.
We're sisters, Omega.
Oh, another female clone! Ah, I should have picked it on the accent. That's it. Okay, so I give them credit. I give them credit for having the balls to kill one of them off. Of course, it leads on from the episode that we had directly before it. And Tech tries to get the car moving again. He goes and runs off to fix the power. Tarkin sends out ships to go and basically kill them, destroy the car. And in the process of doing that, the car starts to derail. You see it there, and Tech is hanging from the bottom of the car. And basically he says Plan 99, and he shoots the car that's hanging down, and he falls to his death. Again, I give him credit for actually doing this. Actually killing one of them off. And again, it's one of those things where you almost should have picked it based on the beginning of the previous episode where they tried to set up like Fee's got feelings for him and, you know, you were going to leave without saying goodbye and all of that kind of shit. Anyway, so they all sort of get injured because they can't stop the car from moving. They get out of there and they decide to go back to Sid, of all places, to recover and heal up and everything like that. Now, again, I feel like they did a pretty good job in regards to giving them a bit of time to mourn Tech's death. And, you know, Omega's like, we've got to go back, we're going to save him. And, you know, Sid says, here's a drink for you on the house. And he's like, it won't help. So, again, they did it pretty well enough. And again, these last two episodes, and I would almost expect this from a season finale, actually does a reasonably good job. Now, again, I have to say it's in Disney's canon, which I fucking hate, but they told a good story and they actually did really well. And like I said, I got to give them credit for killing off Tech and, of course, giving them time to mourn. Now, Sid basically sets them up and reports them to the Empire. And in that moment, you know, Hunter's like, Omega, you got to get out of here. Go back to Echo and help out. She obviously doesn't listen. Not help out, like escape. She obviously doesn't listen and she goes and tries to help Hunter and Wrecker from Dr. Hemlock. And of course, you know, Hunter's outnumbered. He basically says, you know, that's fine. Oh, that was the other thing too. The only thing that he could recover from Tech was his goggles. And he gives those to Hunter as like a, you know, a token. There they are there. And they both get basically placed under arrest. Now, Hunter still thinks that Omega's gone, like well and truly long gone. And then she starts firing at them. You know, you see her up here and she's firing at them. And Hemlock is like, you know, we'll make an exchange. If you come with me, I will let your friends or your brothers live. And, you know, I want to take you to Nullsay. And Hunter's like, no, they're dead. And he's like, no, they're not. And it's a bit of back and forward there. And Omega gets stunned. In that moment, Echo shows up in an ATST and starts blasting away and helping Hunter and Wrecker basically get free and escape. In that moment, Hunter's trying to get back to Omega, back to the shuttle before they take off, and they can't do that. Of course, they see the shuttle take off, and they get back to the Marauder, and they leave, and they jump straight into hyperspace. And Hunter's like, we're going to find her, and we're not going to stop until we do. Then it cuts to Mount Tantus, and again, as you saw through my reactions, this is another thing that's changed from the EU. They just rip off Mount Tantus from the EU, plug it into their fucking bullshit canon, and change everything about Mount Tantus. Now, of course, he shows Omega to Nullsay, and Hemlock is like, you're going to help me achieve what the Emperor wants to achieve. And she goes, it's not possible. And he goes, make it possible, as you can see there. Now, this, of course, to me, is all tying into, again, the sequel trilogy with either making Snoke's or making clones of Palpatine so that he can then do an essence transfer at the end of Return of the Jedi. They send Omega into this room to basically get healed by one of the doctors. She sees Crosshair, and the doctor walks in. And again, it's like I sort of said through my reactions, I should have seen it coming because she's got that New Zealand accent. And she says, it's interesting that you trust the Kaminoans, but you don't trust me. And she's like, I don't even know who you are. And she's like, don't you? She goes, I'm your sister, Omega. And that's the end of the episode. So obviously we are going to get a season 3 of The Bad Batch. I guess they did tie in Sid being like a bit of a weasel in a sense, but they didn't need to have an entire episode for us to see that. Like there was the episode where they basically left Sid and she sends the transmission saying, you know, you better not leave me like this, leave me in the lurch because of what I know about you. Instead of having that entire episode, that's enough to set Sid up as a bit of a double cross, you know, double agent in a sense. They didn't need to do that entire episode. The episode with Benny. Now, again, come next season, that might tie in where, you know, they need Benny's help for something. And they've just set him up and you know, when they go back to see him, he's going to be the one in charge or something along those lines. But there was a lot of episodes throughout this season that were just like filler episodes. Based on the fact that we've now had the season complete, out of the 16 episodes that we had, let me just count really quickly. There was only 5 episodes that I can think of that are actually decent enough. They told a story, and those 5 episodes are all connected, in a sense, to each other. So you had the doubleheader episode in the middle of the season, where the Senator's trying to help the clones, and the clones are being decommissioned, and they're bringing in the stormtroopers. Again, completely different to George Lucas' Star Wars. Then you've got the episode with Crosshair where he does shoot his commanding officer, and he gets sent to Mount Tantus for these experiments and everything. And then there was these 2 episodes. Now, I could almost say that the episodes before these 2, episode 14, wasn't too bad as well. But other than that, so you got like 5.5, maybe 6 episodes total that were actually really any good in this season out of 16. So there was 10 episodes that were just filler crap and garbage that honestly you can't really remember too much about them. Episode 3 was the one with Crosshair and Commander Cody. Now, I reckon Cody's going to come in season 3, you know, teaming up with Rex, and then they're all hunting for Omega and they're hunting for Mount Tantus. But this is, again, Disney Star Wars, so who knows where it can go. I just think that this season was a lot of filler garbage crap, a lot of stealing shit from the EU and bringing it into their canon, you know, because they just can't stay, you know, loyal or honorable to George Lucas Star Wars. They've got to shit all over it in the same time as trying to build their own little story and trying to make this tie up with the sequels so that it actually makes sense. And this is where the Disney Star Wars fans that are out there are thinking that, you know, oh, the prequels were never, you know, accepted all that well when they first came out. But over time, people started to see them and they're starting to enjoy them and they like them more and they're better. And people think that that's going to happen with the sequels. No, I think that these little justifications that they're going to start bringing in with Mandalorian, with the cloning stuff that they're doing in the Mandalorian and the cloning stuff that they're doing in the Bad Batch and stuff like that, is just going to show how bad the sequels actually are. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I do find it funny that there is another female clone of Jango Fett as well. That's Omega's sister. That's a fully grown clone now. So that's kind of funny in a sense. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the season. That's my thoughts on this episode. Let me know what you guys thought of the season. Let me know what you guys thought of these final 2 episodes as well in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank God this is over. We don't have to watch any more Bad Batch. We can just keep going with the stupid Mandalorian. And of course, we'll be breaking this down a little bit on Casual Rage this week as well. So don't forget to tune into that. Anyway, I'll see you there. Later, guys.